Hello everybody, welcome to my Beta 1.1 world. I had previously mentioned this world in my last video, and I have been playing on it for about 2 weeks now. Really not that much progress has been made on it besides getting this house built. But I did think this world was kind of cute, and I wanted to record some content with this. Now, I mainly picked this version of beta specifically because I wanted to play an older version of beta rather than like beta 1.7.3. So it's still before beds, so there is no sleeping. It currently is night. But now I also picked this version because it was right before colored wool was added to the game and different types of spruce and birch logs. Sandstone was also added in Beta 1.2, but like I said, I picked this one specifically because it was right before all that stuff was added, and I wanted a more simplistic version of Beta to go back and play. Like I previously mentioned too, I've been playing a lot of Alpha, so I wanted to play an older version. There's some creepers down there. I wanted to play an older version of Beta that was more similar to Alpha. I already have my Alpha 1.2.6 world, and I'm still working on that world. But like I said, I wanted to go into beta and play kind of an older version. There's also a couple other reasons why I chose this one, but for the most part, it was mainly because it was a very earlier version of beta. Now currently, like I said, I haven't gotten too much done with this world. I just built a house. Little house here. Got some furnaces up here. I haven't furnished it yet. I started to. And down here, just kind of got a storage room. And then this leads down to this cave below my house, which then, in turn, goes down to my mine. Oh, hello there. Uh-oh. Goodbye. Now, I also really like this world because of this terrain generation around here. I just like this little inlet here with all the water and a couple islands, and I like these balloon trees right over here. I have plans to kind of get rid of these balloon trees, or maybe keep them and build a bridge right next to them. My spawn point, I actually spawned right over there on that island right there. So I am pretty close to spawn, because like I said, there's no beds in this version, so you can't set your spawn point, which lots of people probably find that an inconvenience, but I like that, you know? It adds a little bit of difficulty to the game. And it almost makes you play the game like a hardcore version of Minecraft. You don't want to die and lose where you might have built, because some people, myself included, will go hundreds or thousands of blocks away from spawn looking for the perfect area to build. However, though, I found this area literally right when I spawned in, and I really like how this is generated. This little inlet here, and I have plans to build stuff all along this little inlet. You see a bunch of mobs over there. Now, I also like this version of beta because leaf decay got fixed. As I mentioned too in last video, leaf decay has been kind of a troublesome code in Minecraft's history. They never really got it right, and it kept getting added and unadded from the game. Like in Alpha 1.2.6, the world that I play on, they completely removed leaf decay, so it just simply does not exist. Now, however, right here, I want to build a little sugarcane farm, because in these older versions of Minecraft, sugarcane grows relatively fast. And I have this little pond down here that I do eventually want to make this area like a little outside garden. But down here I have some sugarcane growing. And I want to get rid of this and make... Oh, I got stuck down here now. And make a little sugarcane farm up here. I have some mossy cobblestone that I got from a spawner over there some ways. And I want to implement this into this sugarcane farm. I haven't used mossy cobble yet in these older versions. I've used it in my beta 1.7.3 world, but I want to kind of start using it a lot more, because I think especially with these older versions, it's one of the very few almost detail kind of blocks. I want to incorporate that some in this base. So this is kind of the rough design. I'm taking this design from a different world I have. an older alpha version that I have that I've been working on for a while now. But it's not going to be too big. It's going to be kind of quaint. Just enough to get me a bunch of sugarcane when I need it, because I want to make a bunch of bookshelves for inside to decorate. Now, I have this pretty much mapped out. It is going to go up 1 block. And this is going to be the doors. I don't like that it's not perfectly centered. It's got, you know, a 2-block long center, but that doesn't bother me too much. Now, the sugarcane farm itself is going to be an 8x8 square. Actually built it a little too big, so I'm going to get rid of this here. Now, I am going to have glass in these little spots right here. So now I'm just going to lay out the surrounding border of this just really quick. I believe I'm going to put some slabs here too for some extra detail. Same thing with right here. Now I think the base down here is where I'm going to include this moss stone. It's not going to be too much, but I just want to have a little bit of difference in this cobblestone. Like I said, I haven't used it yet in these older versions, so I kind of want to do what I can with it. Eventually, I do want to find more, because it is a very rare block, because you can only currently find them in dungeons. It's not like modern where you can find them in taiga biomes, or you can even craft it. Alright, I like that kind of as the base, and we're still going to have some left over too, which is perfect. Now in here, I'm going to lay out the pattern for how I want this farm to be. So this is the outline. Now each hole is where I'm going to place the water. And now, in these little areas, like I said, this is where I'm going to place glass. Alright, now I'm going to need to get some more, so I'm going to go over here. Another thing with this version that I'm playing, there is some biomes, like deserts, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of having all the biomes. I do like it very simplistic, but I do think it adds a little bit of something to the game. The sun is going down, so I kind of gotta do this quick before monsters start coming after me. Alright, this should be enough sand. So let's hope that's enough to finish the outside walls of the sugarcane farm. Look at that view. I really like how that's all turning out. I do like how my house came out. It's very quaint. It's very simplistic, but I guess that's what I like about these older versions, is that I can have more of a simple kind of build style and not really have to worry about it too much. That's another thing I find with modern that's kind of hard to keep up with, is that there's so many different blocks and items to kind of build with that I think it really takes away from the creativity. I mean, you can be really creative with the block choices and items that you use, because detailing is definitely a big thing with modern building. But I think with these older versions, it requires you to be a lot more creative because of the lack of detail blocks. And you kind of got to make do with what you got. And I think that's something I've always found very special with old Minecraft. And something that I've always kind of enjoyed. Especially when I used to play when I was a kid. I don't know, when I was younger, I would always play on the Xbox. I've always been a Java player, but when I was younger, I really didn't have access to a computer all the time. So I would mainly always play either Pocket Edition or I would play on my Xbox. And so these older versions kind of really remind me of that. I have so many worlds too that I would love to go back and explore. I still have my old Xbox 360. It's kind of buried away right now in a bunch of bins, but I would love to go and look at that at some point. Maybe even make a video of that. I think that would be very nice to do. I know a lot of people grew up playing on the Xbox, Console edition was definitely a big part in why I think Minecraft got so popular. I mean, this game was always going to be popular from the start, but I think the console versions really extended that outreach of the game, because many people like myself grew up playing on the console. And I think that's why these older versions are so special. A lot of us grew up playing them, and it's something that we can kind of go back and really enjoy. I really enjoy playing old Minecraft so far. For a while, I strictly played like modern release versions, and I would always play when new updates would come out. But for the last like 2 years, I want to say, I've really only exclusively played these older versions. Now, I know a lot of people have hate for the newer versions. I don't dislike modern Minecraft. There's a lot of things that I personally don't enjoy, but I don't really hate the game, because I know some people are strongly against modern Minecraft, and while there's nothing wrong with that, I just think that modern Minecraft has its own features that are special, you know, in their own way. Now, one thing I can tell you that I don't like is the new happy gas that's being added, but that's a different story. Oh, hello there. I'm gonna place some more torches out here. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna grab all these sheep. I really like collecting wool. That's something that I think that in every version, like even including 1.7.3, I've just collected so much wool. I love building with it, especially like with my house. Oh, hello, friend. Especially with my house. I love using it in houses like this. Kind of that rustic style. I really do enjoy that. I've also been a big fan of using slabs lately, so I've really used them in a lot of builds, like for these posts, these columns, and for roofs. I usually use them for full roofs, but I kind of wanted to add something different with this build. So I kind of have it as an outline, and then the inside is going to be, you know, obviously the inside is wood. Almost done. Just this and this little piece right here. Now, I kind of talked about it in my last video too. Like lately, I've been kind of on a little bit of a health quirk. And it's something that I feel like I've always should have done or kind of should pay attention to. I mean, like I said, I've never been really necessarily an unhealthy person. But at times, there's definitely things that I should not have, you know, put in my body or really necessarily cared about, which I definitely should have. But I think lately I've been really kind of trying to keep up with my health. And it's something very important that I think that we should all kind of try to take care of. Obviously, you know, you only get one body, got to take care of it. But I'm also the biggest hypocrite with stuff like that. I say things like that and then I'll go eat like Popeyes. But like I said, I've been trying to stay away from stuff like that and take care of myself a lot more. Just kind of trying to enjoy the more finer things in life. At least lately, I think that's been a goal of mine. Like I said, I really like making coffee and trying to find foods that I can make, which I've really enjoyed doing. Like the other night, I was at my girlfriend's house, and it's not too healthy, but like the ingredients that we use were a lot healthier than normal. I made ravioli. I'll actually throw a picture up on screen that I took. I made ravioli and chicken sausage, apple chicken sausage, with a little bit of cottage cheese to dip the sausage in, and it was so good. It was delicious. I really, really liked how it came out. Like I said, both of us have been trying to eat a lot better than we normally do. Now, I really like sweets. I mean, I don't eat too much candy, but I really do like eating candy sometimes, you know, when I have a sweet tooth. But like I said, all that kind of sugar isn't really too good for you, so my girlfriend actually gave me these dried mango pieces, and I've never been one for dried fruits. Sometimes they really throw me off with the way they taste. I've never really liked the texture either, but these dried mangoes, we got them from Aldi. And now, Aldi is like a store that we have here in the US. I know a lot of my viewers are from the US, but in case you're not, that's what Aldi's is. It's really kind of like a cheaper alternative. Like, I feel like Aldi has such cheap options compared to like bigger stores. Me and my girlfriend, again, we went shopping and we went to a Whole Foods store and we bought maybe like 10 items and we spent $70. And the items that we bought too weren't even like expensive. Like, because, you know, sometimes when you go to the store, some of the things that you buy are considered like expensive items. But the stuff that we bought really wasn't even things that could be considered that, and we still left there spending $70. Now, we went to Aldi, and we bought all that stuff to make dinner, and we even bought other groceries, and that altogether was $40. $40. Now, I know prices are really jacked up right now, but that I thought was crazy. Me and her both were like, we're never going to Whole Foods again. Obviously, we will eventually, because they definitely have a lot of good stuff, but Aldi does too. But I think it was just kind of funny, the difference. Aldi is a lot similar to kind of like Trader Joe's and stuff like that. We have a couple. There's one kind of farther from me, and I haven't been there in a while, and that's another store that I think is really nice to kind of go into, and they got a lot of cheaper foods. I'm gonna make an infinite water source, because that's gonna really bother me. It's gonna throw off my OCD. But anyways, like I was saying about these dried fruits, anytime I have a sweet tooth, I'm trying to stay away from eating actual candy. So my girlfriend kind of put me on to these dried mango slices, which they have like a decent amount of sugar, but it's like healthier sugars. You know, not a lot of added sugar. It's all natural sugar from the fruit itself. And they're very good. They're really good. I like mango in general as a fruit. Like I said, I've never really liked dried fruits, but these ones, man, let me tell you, if you're ever at Aldi, you got to check out these. They're sweetened dried premium mango. They're by Southern Grove. They're awesome. So if you're looking for anything that's kind of like low added sugars and kind of natural sugar, and for whenever you have a sweet tooth, I would highly suggest getting some of those. Alright, so that's pretty much the farm done. Now I just gotta go through and add all the sugarcane. I have a lot inside, but I'm gonna collect the stuff that's down here really quick. And I'm also gonna snag you. Thank you. There's also one down here. Thank you. I think I'm also going to make a couple more slabs too, because I'm going to place them over the water so I don't have to worry about anything falling into there. Alright, so I'm completely changing the design of this. Like I said, I'm using a design that I use on an older alpha world, and now I don't think, at least in this version of beta, that the water can grow sugarcane from the amount that I did on my alpha world. Like I kind of mentioned in my last video, I like knowing things about the version I'm playing, but there's also, I don't try to completely know everything, because I think it takes away from the game. So I'm going to try to kind of figure out a way to do this the best I can. Alright, so I think I finally figured out how I did it on my alpha world. I don't know why that took me so long to figure out. It's been a process. I'm having a day. But I'm just going to get this done really quick, and then we can move on. I'm kind of laughing at the zombie standing over here. He's standing right on the torch, so he's kind of like lit up. That was funny. See, like I said, sugarcane grows really fast. It's already growing right after being planted. And then I left a little spot right here for the entrance, so I'm just gonna place some slabs down here for some extra detail. And then I'm gonna go around and light this up just a little bit. But other than that, that is the finished sugarcane farm. I have no clue why this took me so long to kind of figure out. I did kind of change up the design just a little bit. I extended it a little bit this way, and so I made it so that it was an even spacing. So now the entrance is centered instead of having a 2-block gap, which, you know, it's not that big of a deal, but I've always preferred to have my stuff kind of centered. It's kind of been a little bit of a nitpick for me, But other than that, really no changes for the exterior besides that. And like I said, I finally got the pattern figured out for this floor. I'm sure there's probably a better way to do it, but this is what I've got going on, and I think that this has worked a lot better for me, especially in my other world. I think that I'm gonna build a bridge right here. I think this is the best place for it to fit in. I want to keep these balloon trees, but I'm thinking that... I'm gonna get rid of them, because I think right here would kind of be the perfect spot to put a bridge. I think this is kind of like the outline. You know, the world was telling me that a bridge needs to go here. I'm kind of bummed that I'm losing these balloon trees, but it's not that big of a deal. I'll find some more. Maybe some will grow again if I start replanting. But I think right here would fit a bridge perfectly. I am going to have to take this down a little bit, but I want to work on building the actual bridge first instead of worrying about the land itself. I want it to be a wooden bridge. I feel like I want to start using wood a lot more. Like I said, I have a world that I've been working on, and I think I've been using a lot of stone. So I want to start using wood definitely a lot more than what I do now. I just completely realized that I had made pickaxes instead of axes. I've made that mistake a little too much in my Minecraft career. I can't believe I did that. Now, as of today, like right now as I'm recording this video, I have officially finished this semester of school, and I'm so very happy to be done. I think this semester has been kind of a grind for me. Not only has the work been kind of hard, I've just been really in a mindset that I want to be done. Like, I've been really looking forward to summer and just being able to relax and do things that I want to do instead of constantly have to worry about school and assignments getting done. I finished off the semester pretty strong, though, so I'm kind of proud with how I've worked and gotten things done, but it's just still, like I said, I mean, these last couple months after winter break kind of have been a little tough. So I'm pretty glad for it to be over. This morning, I woke up pretty early. I think I woke up around like 7, something like that. A lot of people, that's not considered early, but for me it is. I don't like to sleep in too much. I usually wake up around like 9 or 9:30. So it's not too late, but I woke up around 7 today. I made some breakfast for myself, and I kind of relaxed. I made some coffee and sat there and drank it. And I studied for my last exam. It's kind of the most important exam for me with my classes, and it's kind of all I've been thinking about these last couple days. It's why I really missed out on getting a video out over this weekend, or this past weekend, because I usually try to stay pretty adamant with uploading over the weekends, like once a week. But I wanted to take a little bit more time to focus on this, obviously, because school is definitely a lot more important. It felt so nice to finally leave there today. Like, the drive home, I just felt good. I finally finished the semester, and I wanted to come home, and this is the first thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to relax and play some Minecraft, because honestly, this past week, I really haven't played much at all. And this is kind of what I use to de-stress a lot. That, and I also play the drums. It's something that I've done for pretty much 10 years now, almost, since I was real young. I think I was about like 11 when I started playing, something like that. So I've been playing for a while, and it's just something that I've really enjoyed, but I really can't do that at all hours of the day. And I don't really like being glued to a screen 24/7. Like, I take breaks and I go outside and I'll sit there, maybe make some food and kind of just relax. I'm trying to read a little bit more. I don't really read that much, but I've been trying to read a little bit more, something to get me away from the screen when I'm not, like, playing games or something like that. But Minecraft, I find recently, has been kind of a way for me to de-stress. So I've really been wanting to play, just because I've been so stressed out with school and getting this last final done. But yeah, like I said, this is kind of the first thing that I'm doing after finishing that final. I made some lunch for myself, and then decided to get on here, and I could do a little bit on this world. This should be plenty of wood. This is kind of a lot. But like I said, I like to play the drums too, and that's definitely another thing that I use to kind of de-stress. You can definitely get a lot of stress and anger out when you play the drums, because you're constantly beating on something. Now, I don't really have a lot of anger. I'm never mad at anything, but I definitely have been stressed out, especially with school, so it's come in handy. Same thing with playing Minecraft. It's kind of a way for me to shut my brain off and kind of get away from doing the normal routine of school. And I can kind of get on here and just let my creativity flow, because I feel like with school, even though I am still being creative, I feel like I'm really kind of botched. Like, I'm constantly worrying about what assignments the professors want me to do and not stuff that I want to do. Like, obviously my major is something that I want to do personally, but at the same time, it's like I feel like my creativity is a little bit capped when I'm in school. So that's another reason why I think Minecraft has kind of been really coming in handy and helping me out to kind of release my creativity just a little bit. Now, I'm not sure how I want to do this, because I know for a fact I want to have this bridge kind of have like a little bit of a curve. And this is actually kind of perfect down here. This is a 3-block gap right there. So I think that I'm going to have it come over here. And I think I'm just going to have it go up two blocks and then 3 blocks, 2 blocks, and then back down to normal level. So let's see here. And then I want it to be 3 blocks wide. So I'm going to start it right here. Here, chicken swimming around. I'll make some planks. I'm definitely going to need these. I think this is perfect, kind of how it came out. And I like how I really mapped it out a little bit perfectly, so it kind of lines up with this floor right here. Now, like I said, I am going to have to terraform just a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. I'm just going to get rid of this. But I am going to go ahead and I believe I want to make this... I think I'm going to have this come over just 1 more block. Yeah, I think I like the way that looks a lot more than just having the post be right here. Put some torches on this island. It's kind of really dark over here, and I can see some monsters are floating around over there. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and fill all this in with wood really quick. And then I'm going to, after this, going to work on some details from the outside of the bridge. We got a friend down here. He wants to say hello. Hello there. Goodbye. Now, I do think I'm going to have some stairs coming up to this, so that's not such a harsh transition from each layer. I am going to make some ladders, though, and I'm going to use that as some extra detail around the outside. Rarely ever use ladders, I feel like. There we go. I really like that. I think that adds a lot more detail than just leaving the posts as they are. I also think that I'm going to add these posts right here. I think that looks a lot better. You can still see the curvature of the bridge, but I think those will add a little bit extra to the way the outside of the bridge looks. And then I think I'm going to add some fence posts in between all of these posts here. I think another thing about these older updates of Minecraft is I just love the way the fog looks. Like, something about this old fog kind of brings me back, like I said earlier, to the old Pocket Edition and Xbox versions. Yeah, this is completely unplayable. I don't know how people, when they had poor running machines or computers, would play with the fog all the way this down. This is scary. This is actually very scary. Sometimes I start to understand why people created things like Herobrine and stuff like that. It makes the game, like I said in the last video, it makes the game really liminal. It's like I'm afraid of what's around each corner, you know? And I think that this bridge is pretty much done. Like I said, I gotta terraform here and make an entrance to this bridge. And I think I'm just gonna kind of mine through here and have it come out to the cave that's under my house here. Like, I think I could just have it come straight through and go directly into the bridge. But other than that, I really like the way that this turned out. It's very simple, but added some extra detail with the fence posts, which I'm actually missing one right there, which I'm gonna go ahead and fix real quick. All right, that's a lot better. But I like how simplistic it is, especially with the fence post and the ladders. I think that really adds a lot to something that's very simple. Like I said earlier, you know, with these older versions, you kind of got to be creative in what you make, because there's not really a lot of things you can use for detail. That's why I said earlier with the mossy cobble, it's kind of one of the only few texturized blocks, you know, that you can use to detail builds. So stuff like that, I always think turns out fantastically when you use little kind of obscure items for detailing. Really adds a lot to your builds. That is going to be all for this video. I didn't really want to do anything crazy for this video. I just want to kind of relax and play Minecraft, especially after getting my last final done, and kind of do something that I enjoy doing just to wind down. But I'm glad that we got this bridge built and this sugarcane farm. Even though this was kind of a process, I'm glad I got it done. I will be making a video on the 173 world soon. I'm kind of taking a break from that world for the time being. I just don't want to really burn myself out too much with that world, because I do have a lot of plans with it. I've just really enjoyed playing these even older versions of Minecraft. Like I said, I've been playing Alpha a lot recently, and I just started like a couple weeks ago this world. So I've really been enjoying these kind of older versions of Alpha and Beta than the ones that I normally play. I'm definitely going to continue this world. I think that's what I say with every world that I've made so far, but I like to have multiple worlds because it keeps me busy and I don't really get too burnt out. Like I said, with the 173 world, I feel like I've played on there a lot to the point where I am kind of getting a little burnt out, but like I said, I have all these multiple worlds that I can kind of flip-flop back and forth with, and it keeps me motivated to keep playing. This game is kind of a way that I use to, you know, relax, like I was saying earlier, and wind down. So I'm definitely not going to ever get tired of playing. Just like I said, some worlds I might get burnt out on than other, but that's why I have multiple others, so I can go and do different things in those. But yeah, I really appreciate all the support. And if you guys could just do me one big favor, please like and subscribe, and even comment on the videos. It really helps out the channel a lot and helps me grow. I have lots of plans coming with this channel now that school's over and I have a lot of time for this summer. So expect a lot more from me within the coming months. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.